Let's start by understanding the bullish formations that we see as they show up inside the Bollinger Bands. And the truth is, they're the same patterns you should already be familiar with if you understand candles. But here's how we're going to interpret them. What we're watching for is we're watching for the bullish formations to appear at either a middle band or a lower band. It doesn't really matter if the bullish formations appear at the upper band. At that point, you're already overbought. It's already too late for those formations to really matter very much, with the exception of maybe a rising 3 continuation pattern or maybe a rest after battle. But other than that, the rest of these patterns need to appear at the middle band or at the lower band. And when you see them, it creates a high probability swing setup. In other words, it's a high probability that this trade is going to swing in the next direction, which would be a bullish trade here, because of course they're bullish patterns. Now, where do you get these patterns? Well, you should already know them. These are the patterns that you're familiar with from your Foundations of Stocks and Options and from the rest of the training that you've had here at TradeSmart. If you've not watched those classes, then I would encourage you to do so. But these are really the key patterns right here, and this is what you're looking for. You're going to notice that I've got all 2 candle patterns with the exception of a couple of 3 candle patterns over here. You've got patterns like the bullish engulfing formation, where you have a large white candle that engulfs a small little black spinning top here. Of course, that's preceded by a downward move. That's what this little arrow means. It's a downward move. Then if you move over, you got the tweezer bottom. Tweezer bottom is a powerful pattern here where you've got the matching bottoms here of good-sized candle formations, black moving to white. As candle patterns go with the bullish formations, you're always looking for the black candle moving to the white candle. So look at the color order here, because that's really important. Take a look at the bullish harami. You've got a large black candle with a small little spinning top that's inside. If you're looking at bar patterns, we call that an inside day. Of course, this is a candle formation. We call it a bullish harami. It needs to be preceded from an downward swing from the upward direction there. It's coming from the top down. And then, again, you're looking for this pattern to appear at a middle band or at a lower band. Now, over on the far right here, I've got a pattern. It's not really a pattern at all. I just referred to it as long lower shadows. This is a very important sentiment to recognize. When you see long lower shadows, it could be, especially if you see a bunch of them, let's put it that way. If you see any long lower shadow, it has a lot of bullish sentiment to it. But if you see several of them congregating together, that is a really big deal. The color of the candle bodies actually doesn't matter. It's the lower shadows that's really telling you there's a bunch of buying pressure coming in. If you see that at a middle band, you see that at a lower band, that is a lot of buying pressure coming in, and that's good reason to recognize this as a bullish formation. Coming back to a couple of the 2 candle patterns here, if you look at the bullish counterattack, this is the one that gaps down and trades up and counterattacks at the same close as the previous day. You got your bullish piercing pattern. Again, it's going to gap down and close up inside the previous day. Of course, you got your one white soldier where we gap up and then we close above the previous day's candle body. So those are some more of your solid 2 candle patterns. And then one of the ones that's just as reliable as you can get in the world of Bollinger Bands is your Morningstar reversal. When you see Morningstar reversal patterns at a lower band, you see it at a middle band, the probabilities of this pattern playing out in a bullish swing are really, really high. You need to learn to identify this pattern. The formation here is a good-sized black candle with a small spinning top, that's your star, and then a good-sized white candle. It's a 3-candle pattern here. Now, in a perfect world, the Morningstar reversal is going to gap down. And in a really, really perfect world, it will also gap back up. You don't really have to have it to have the sentiment there, but to have the textbook Morningstar reversal, you need the gap on at least one side there. That's the textbook definition. Again, if you just have the general formation, though, it plays out as a Morningstar reversal almost with a few rare exceptions with great consistency there. And so this is a really powerful pattern to recognize. All of these are solid patterns. You need to learn how to recognize all of them. Even if you don't have the right name, recognize what it is. Now, I encourage you to do some flashcards or do whatever it takes to memorize the names, because it kind of ingrains it a little bit more. Even if it's sitting down with a friend and saying, hey, let me teach you these candle patterns, just so you start to ingrain them more. And going through a trade, going through a stock or a currency pair or whatever and just looking at the candles and saying, what is this candle pattern? What is this candle pattern? And naming it. As you force it, as you drill that more and more, you'll get more comfortable with it. It will become second nature to you. And that drilling process will be worth its weight in gold when it comes to the real world of actually trading here. So these are your bullish pattern formations. In a second here, let's look at the bearish formations.